Alright everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast production. I'm your casting host, Beef. Thank you very much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at some more replays coming out of the Assembly Summer 2012 tournament over there in Helsinki, Finland. Once again, going back into the round of 32. This is going to be a PvZ matchup here on Entombed Valley. Let's get started in the top right-hand corner. One of the most successful Protoss in the scene today, playing for the foreigner team Liquid. He is the Korean Protoss hero. And in the bottom right-hand corner, his lesser-known opponent, but making his own star-shooting rise through the scene, he is WW.SortOf. So getting right started here on this match, we do have Hero going to be going for what appears to be a Forge Fast Expand, and I apologize if there's a little bit of an issue here with me observing. I'm trying out a new technique here, using the scroll wheel in the middle of the mouse, something that I've had a little bit of an issue with in the past, so trying to work on that technique here today, so hopefully that doesn't impede your enjoyment or my ability to observe, but thought I'd let you know anyway. Hero does look like he's going for a Forge Fast Expand over here, dropping that pylon on the low ground in the main base. Nothing else going on over there, but his probe has already made its way into SortOf's mineral line. Actually going to be putting out a little bit of harass onto these drones right there, even going to be denying some economic time there from that probe, or from the drone, and SortOf is going to respond by dropping a spawning pool right there on 14. This is a completely standard 14-16 play out of the Zerg. So right now, SortOf is just trying to get into that economic phase, not going to be putting on any kind of early pressure with a 11-12 pool, something along those lines. So Hero's going to know exactly what's going on. He's going to be able to play however he wants, and he does choose to go Forge before Nexus. So this is a little bit safer of a build from Hero. And look at this, actually doing a very good job. After all that economic harassment, this probe is continue its usefulness here with the drone. Going to be blocking the hatchery with the pylon, absolutely beautiful. And that one drone is even going to be relatively low on life. No shields have been regened on that probe yet, so we'll see if he is in fact able to get any more use out of that probe. And Nexus is going to be going down as soon as 400 minerals come down. At the same time, SortOf has already seen the Forge into Nexus, so he's going to be a little bit wary the possibility that there could be cannons going down, which is why he's sticking this drone onto the probe the entire time. 4 Lings are already in production here for our Zerg player. Going to be using those to take down each of these pylons and make sure that there are no shenanigans going on with those cannons. As Artosis would say, he's going to be keeping him honest. Probe's still doing his job over here. Actually forced one drone back into the base and gonna block that third as well. This probe is an absolute hero. Now the probe will not be able to take on that drone, so he's gonna have to get out of there. This drone, or this drone, will be able to get the pylon down eventually. Zerglings have taken out that pylon, so we are going into a completely standard PvZ here on Entombed Valley. Let's talk a little bit about the map here. With this large map, the Zerg player already knows exactly where his opponent is, so I'm not sure. Okay, he's checking for cannons. Very, very good here, very thorough from our Zerg player. With this large map, it's something that Zergs do quite enjoy. The ability to really just expand all over the place is something that the Zerg's going to like in the late game. However, the main issue right now is the 2-base timings for a Zerg. Those are the things that you're really vulnerable to. Something like a 2-base Immortal Sentry push is going to be really difficult, and so one of the main things that you have to worry about is getting these destructible rocks down so that you can actually get troops to your third to properly defend off of any of those early timings. Probe's going to be making its way in over here, wants to make sure that the Zerg player has in fact dropped 2 bases so that the Protoss player doesn't have, excuse me, he has dropped 2 hatcheries to bring him up to 3 bases so that the Protoss player doesn't have to worry about any funky all-ins. +1 going ahead and starting there for Hero so that he is going to be able to use that later, get those Zealots nice and beefy so they're able to deal with Zerglings extremely effectively. Meanwhile, he's going to be chrono boosting out that the second Zealot right there. So Hero actually opting to go 2 Zealots right now, and he's going to be able to put on a little bit of pressure with that. Going to force out a couple more Zerglings or a little bit of time used with that Queen, so that the Queen's going to have to micro all around and deal with those Zealots. Zealots actually going to be used to clean up a lot of the map control as well, but a very nice job there from SortOf, able to pull his drone off, his Ling off in time so that he didn't end up losing it. And this Ling over here patrolling is going to be checking for something like a proxy pylon. It's a popular spot, but the Zealot is going to be making its way, once it meets up with its buddy, into the third over here. And it's going to be relatively hard for SortOf to defend that with just the 1 Queen and those rocks, once again, not broken down yet. So he's going to lose a little bit of mining time. He's going to lose maybe a couple of drones, nothing too big. But we did see that Stargate coming down from Hero. So with the 2 gateways that he's adding as well, there could be some serious aggression coming out. We'll see if he does in fact start Phoenixes or Void Rays, and it's going to be Void Rays. So Void Ray is going to be very effective at cleaning up a couple of these Overlords and maybe getting in there and sniping a few drone kills as well. Zealots in there not doing as good of a job as you would hope. The Zerglings, excuse me, were able to come back and, oh man, hiccups, and provide a little bit of cannon fodder for the Queen that was able to provide the DPS. 2 Zerglings going to be making their way, meeting up with that Stalker at home for SortOf. He has gone ahead and started Zergling speed, but for the time being, nothing is down. Probe managed to squeak on by here and drop a pylon. I'm not sure if SortOf has in fact seen that yet. Let's take a look, and he does not know that that pylon's there. He will start seeing units warping in, but for the time being, the Void Ray is going to start making its way across the map. Finished up with a couple of Phoenixes here, so the Void Ray has revealed itself as it starts taking out this Overlord right now, but that Overlord has already done its job. He knows the 2 gas timings right here. He knows that both of these gases are up, so this could be a nice read from our Zerg player, and he's actually going to be going Robo Facility immediately after that Stargate. This is something that I believe that I saw Elfie doing last week in the IEM Cologne, where he was going Phoenix into an Immortal push, doing a little bit of harassment, and then going to be going into a large push. But right now, we do have a large swell of Zerglings going to be coming over here, trying to deal with these +1 Zealots. The Zealots are actually very effective against the Zerglings, but there are just so many Zerglings, each Zealot picking up about 6 or 8 kills, something like that there. So another Warping going to be coming in right now. More Zealots on 2 different locations. These will be able to defend the pylon, so the pylon will remain up at the same time. This Void Ray is going to be going ahead and trying to take down as many units as possible, but Spore Crawler already down here in the mineral line, so one of these Phoenix is going to fall. So a little bit of miscontrol here from our Protoss player, but now that Void Ray is charged up, he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage, but the Queens do manage to repel it for the time being. One Phoenix even going to be going in there and using a little bit of his energy on the Graviton beam to make sure that Queen was in fact not able to snipe that Void Ray. A couple of drones going to be trying to make their way over there and deal with that Void Ray, and even though it is so low on life, well, drones aren't able to fire up. Unlike siege tanks, they don't have a neck, they just can't do anything. Right now, a couple of Overseers are going to be making their way into the Protoss base, sort of saying, hey, I would really like some scouting information, even dropping a couple of changelings there. But Phoenixes are, in fact, able to clean it up. The robotics facility is, in fact, already done. The first observer going to be making its way across the map right now. Even one probe joining the party to take out that changeling. And there was a little bit of a Ling run by over here as well, but that did get cleaned up. So right now, let's take a look at SortOf's vision. SortOf does know that there was the Robo. He's already seen the Stargate and the large amount of Phoenixes, so he knows generally what's going on. He even saw that the Nexus was going down. So he knows that there's not going to be any kind of a big 2-base timing coming in right now. But the Void Ray, and in addition to the Observer and the Phoenixes, are going to do a very nice job of cleaning up a lot of the creep. They're going to prevent the creep spread, and they're going to be able to pick off some of these Queens, and making sure that there's no vision with Overlords. This is actually going to be a really nice strategy. The Void Ray does, in fact, go down right there. But taking out 3 Queens has this is going to be a 4th Queen right now while Transfuse goes down. But yeah, 4 Queens going down. Let's take a look at SortOf's units. He only has 2 Queens right now for the 3 hatches that he's working with. His macro hatch is actually exceptionally late right now. You typically see that go down at around the 8-minute mark, so this is about 2 minutes behind, but with all the harassment that he's taken, it's completely understandable. There's been a lot of aggression put on here by a Protoss player. 4th base is going to be coming up now relatively soon so that he can get those crucial 7th and 8th gases and begin trying to tech up a little bit. Right now, there's just a paltry amount of roaches on the field in the 15 roaches on the field right now, just so that they can try to do a little bit of scouting information and defend any aggression from Hero while the tech does come up. Infestors are starting production, and they're doing +1/1 here for melee attacks instead of roaches, so you can see that SortOf is in fact not planning on staying with roaches. That's not going to be his primary tech. He's going to be going either Zerglings or Infestors, excuse me, Zerglings or Ultralisks. But with 3 Immortals already out right now, I'd say that's a good choice because those roaches aren't going to do very well. But with the first Colossus coming out right now as well, that's also going to be very hard to deal with the Colossi if you're using Zerglings. Colossi are just going to absolutely shred through those Lings, so I'm hoping that those upgrades are going to be for Broodlords. Broodlings once again making use of that as well, but these 6 Phoenixes have in fact made their way over to the base right now, and Oh man, Investor's trying to grab those with a couple of fungals, but the Phoenix is darting around the edges right now. And there could be one or two get in there, but the Phoenixes, 3 of them do get fungled right there, and 3 more get fungled on the other side. A couple of Queens going to be trying to clean them up as well. One Infestor will fall here as payment for these 5 Phoenixes, but all those Phoenixes do fall other than 2 to get out of there with their lives, so not a terrible trade overall. A little bit of energy in one Infestor for cleaning up 4 or 5 Phoenixes, something like that. But Hero is actually looking like he's going to want to move out right now, with Thermal Lance going to be finishing very quickly here and operating off of a total of like 9 gates, something like that. Hero is actually looking in a very good position to do a lot of damage here. Let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 9 gates right now. And Hero's actually going to be able to do a lot of damage with this. This is a crucial timing right now. Hive is just starting production, just starting researching, so there's not going to be any kind of real way to defend this. Spine crawlers are going up, but there's only 5 spine crawlers, and those colossi, as well as the stalkers, are just going to absolutely shred through those. Even the infestors that he has are really low on energy, and unless there's some kind of a brilliant flank right now, SortOf is not going to be able to hold this very effectively, not without taking some absolutely gigantic losses. Right here, nice spread out from the colossi. I want to make sure that there are not too many fungals going down, and some absolutely beautiful force fields. A few of those Zerglings do get in there, but they get cleaned up by the Protoss army right there. The Zealots and the Colossi just absolutely shred through them, and now that these Infestors only have a total of 2 fungals left right now, the force fields are going to have to be, once again, be very good, but there's not a whole lot of energy left on those sentries at this point. A couple of Corruptors going to be trying to make their way in and take these Colossi out, but the force fields, even though there were only 4, they were good enough. They managed to keep the ground army out of there, and right now SortOf at 183 supply is going to be relying mostly on his spine crawlers, his static defense, to try to make sure that Hero is in fact not going to be able to get through. Now the problem right now for Hero is that he's not really able to warp in too many reinforcements. The reinforcements are having to come from quite a ways away, and the engagement is going on right now. The Corruptors do manage to fell the first Colossus there, but the last Colossus is going to remain alive. And with these 3 Immortals in here right now, the Immortals are just doing so much work. One Immortal even going to remain alive right there with just about 19 HP. The Infestors do get sniped. Drones end up getting pulled right there. The Mothership is being produced for Hero back at home. The Stalker is just going to be able to stand in there and take all the fire from these units right now. Blink Micro going to be able to keep them alive when it comes down to it. A big blink back right there, and not a whole lot of force fields left right now for Hero. The Corruptors do end up sniping that last Colossus, and with good focus fire onto these Immortals, 2 of the Immortals do fall. There's only 1 left right now, and there's not a whole lot left for Hero. The Blink Stalkers are the last thing there. They're not really able to get out of there. The Blink Stalker and the Immortal do end up falling, and right now it's just about 14 Blink Stalkers are the only remaining army out here on the front line for Hero, but Hero has done the damage that he needed to do. He took out the 4th base. He made sure that the oh wow, there's actually a big run by of Zealots coming in over here from the Warp Prism, able to force a whole lot of units back over here. And the Infestor is going to be able to clean that up. The Warp Prism not even going to be able to escape either, as that falls as well. But it looks like there was a ton of workers killed that I just completely missed while there was the other fight going on over here. That could explain where the rest of Hero's reinforcements were in fact going. But with Hero going ahead and killing that 4th base right there, he was able to take out the gas that was absolutely crucial for SortOf to make any kind of a tech transition to a more cost-efficient tech. The Templar Archive is going to be finishing up right here, and with that Mothership out on the field, as soon as that hits 100 energy, it's going to have the ability to land that Vortex. These High Templar are most certainly going to be merging themselves into Archons. And right there, the 4th base is scouted by SortOf. He knows that he is in some deep trouble. Everything's going to be cleaned up very easily by the remnants of Hero's army. And Colossi production is actually still going on right now. Keeping a couple Colossi in the army just to clean up Broodlings is very wise indeed. A couple Blink Stalkers over here, just making sure that there's not going to be any kind of counter for the time being. And Hero even looking to move out right here once again, up at about 30 supply above our Zerg player. The Zerg player relying once again primarily on his static defenses, but he just doesn't have the bank right now to really defend with those spine crawlers. The majority of his supply is in fact in drones, Zerglings, a few roaches, and the Corruptors that are just waiting right now for that Greater Spire to finish. The Broodlords are in fact morphing over here with the Infestors, so once those get up, if he's able to defend in a good position, he might actually be able to get a really good engagement here. The Zerglings trying to stall for as much time as they possibly can. Zealots going to be making their way over here into the 4th base for the time being, while the rest of the army, the valuable part of the army, they're going to be hanging out, and the Zealots, excuse me, they're going to be making their way into the 5th base, not into the 4th, and that 5th base is in fact going to be canceled. There's absolutely no way to hold that. Cancel goes down right there from the Zerg player, and the Blink Stalker is going to be making their way over here. The hatchery is going to fall once again. Large Zergling counterattack, but Zealots and Stalkers are going to be in position to deal with that for the time being. The Broodlords are out in front right here, and there's actually not a whole lot that the Stalkers are going to be able to do. There's some really good fungals going down onto the Stalkers for the time being. The Stalker's not able to blink up. A nice feedback going to be going out onto one of those Infestors right there, and the second Infestor going to get feedbacked as well, but a brilliant move right there from Hero, showing his mothership and warping in all the units back to home. I don't even know where that mothership is. Where is that mother? Oh, there. It was out in the middle of the field. So bringing all the units back home with that recall. Nice job. Going to be forcing another destruction on that 4th base, denying the gases, denying the tech. Beautiful job there by Hero. All at the same time, he has in fact taken his own 5th, getting his own gas count up. Going to be continuing all of his upgrades at home, starting level 2 armor. Zerglings going to make their way in once again over here to discover yet another base that is already cannoned up, already rather invulnerable to any kind of run-bys. Even a couple of High Templar there waiting with some energy for some storms. Zerglings going to be checking all the other bases as well, saying, oh my god, how much worse could this get? And not a whole lot worse right now, sort of. You're in a pretty rough position. The Zealots on the right side of the map going to be making their way forward with an Archon over here. Going to be doing some storm drops, something that Hero is very well known for, especially against his allies in this late game where he can afford to lose a couple of High Templars, but you really just want to deny the economy of your opponent as best as possible. One more Nexus going to be going down for Hero, but at the same time, all these units going to be making their way forward. The mothership is hanging back for the time being. It does, in fact, have enough energy for that Vortex, so we could see a very large engagement going down here very soon, but there's a lot of Broodlords on the field right now. A total of 11 Broodlords and 7 Infestors. Most of the Infestors were out of position a second ago. Where did they go? There, okay, there they are. All in one group. Very vulnerable to feedbacks if Hero does in fact go with that. But all these drones going to be making their way over to the 5th, but the 5th has already been sniped. Even the Zerglings going to be sacrificing themselves. Lambs to the Colossi at this point, and for the 3rd time, all of these drones having to be pulled off of the base right now. The Broodlords going to be making their way in there. The mothership now not in position right now for a big Vortex, but right now it's not even looking like it's going to be needed. The Broodlord's going to be coming in and cleaning up all the ground forces, the Zealots out there in front, but all the Zealots already did their work. They were able to tank as much damage as they possibly needed to, and the 4th is denied once again right now. The Vortex is going down, and a total of 10 Broodlords going to be sucked in there. Archon's going in, but not even a chance for that Archon toilet to happen. Western Wolf sort of does GG out, and that's going to be game 1. Hero displaying some impressive micro, impressive macro, just being able to take over the map and just continually deny the economy of his opponent, just making sure that he was going to be able to get up that perfect composition and take out his opponent here in game 1. Entombed Valley is done. We're going to be moving on to game 2. Thank you very much for joining me. I've been Beef, your casting host, and we'll catch you next time.